All right, today I'm here with Sean, who works for one of our sister stations that shall remain nameless. Anyway, no, he does.
Just because you're not cool like
he
that.
does afternoons on Q, but I found out that he served for our country in the Coast Guard a couple months back when he first started. So I've been dying to take you out to lunch and do a little interview with a thing I called Lunch with a Hero. That's what we're here today for.
You just wanted to take me to lunch.
I just wanted to take
There's
you.
other ulterior motives you have for this.
I haven't got there yet. So
Right.
just
I gotta
wait.
eat first,
You
right?
sit tight and wait. I get you full, and then I just start attacking. So when did you start in the Coast Guard?
It was back in 2005, actually.
What made you want to join up?
Well, I originally wanted to get into law enforcement.
Okay.
But I was like, okay. I had applied at some departments and stuff back home, and it's not as easy as people make it seem to get in.
It's very
Even
tough.
though they're really in need of officers, a lot of places
Good officers,
yeah.
That's the key and I completely agree with you. It's good officers, and that's it. They make it so tough because of how hard of a job it is.
Right.
And God, I couldn't even imagine. My aunt was a detective retired now, but I've had a few family members in law enforcement, and it's not easy.
It's not, and it's just one of those things where it's like, if you're not like literally in the top like 2% of people that go in to try and apply, you're not going to get a job, which is sad. It's good, but it's sad at the same time because you're still. If you only take the top 2%, I personally feel you're still missing out on some other good candidates.
You got 3 other percent. 5%. But again,
right?
I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you there. So anyway, so the law enforcement didn't work out.
Right. So I was like, well, what's the next best thing? And I was like, okay, well, let's go to the military because they do a lot of law enforcement stuff. Yeah. So I decided that I wasn't one that wanted to get deployed and go like overseas and all that kind of stuff because it never appealed to me. So I was doing research because both my dad and my grandpa were in the Marines.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I don't really want to do the Marines. Not anything against them. I had no problem with the Marines or any of the branches, but it's just what was the most law enforcement branch that I could get into?
Yeah.
And it was the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what, let's give it a try. Just kind of see what it's all about. See if it's what I actually feel it is towards what I want to do for law enforcement. So I signed up, did the DEP program, and if people don't know what that is, that's pretty much where you can enter in like a year before you actually start boot camp. So I did that, and then went off to boot camp, and it's kind of.
What coast were you on?
So boot camp was in Cape May, New Jersey.
Okay.
So the armpit of America,
Yeah,
as everybody
that's
says. And it really is. It really is. God, and I was there I feel like I was actually there at a good time because I hear the winters out there are kind of brutal, and the summers are just. You think the humidity's bad here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like multiply that by like at least 10.
I grew up on the Mississippi. I know. If you're by any kind of large body of water that gets hot, it's unbearable. And the Ozarks is really humid because of the greenness of it and the rivers that we've got. But
right.
Like I said in Cape, man. Oh God, the humidity. I can't even imagine being by the ocean.
Yeah. Brutal, and the mosquitoes, man. Let me tell you, mosquitoes out there. So I feel as though I started boot camp in May, so I feel like that was kind of almost the ideal time. It was like not too cold, and it was by the time I was done, it was just getting to that hot point.
Yeah.
So I think I lucked out on that part of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I went to my A school, and that was still on the East Coast. I was over in Virginia. And let me tell you about summers in Virginia. You crack the door, like literally like a couple centimeters, and you are already a puddle of sweat.
Really?
Yeah, like you don't even have to open it all the way. You don't have to step outside. You crack it a couple centimeters, and you are sweating like you wouldn't even believe. It's almost like you're in a swimming pool of your own sweat. It's kind of gross.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But descriptive nonetheless.
Yes.
So what did you do in the Coast Guard?
Okay, so when I went to my A school, I went for the bosun's mate rate.
What's that?
So basically, so it started out, there was 2 different sides to it. There was the original side of the quartermaster side, which is the nav side, but they just combined the rates basically in just a one rate. I know the Navy still has it separated, but the Coast Guard combined it into one. So there's the nav side and the deck side. I was on the nav side. So basically what I did was I made sure that we didn't run into things.
Oh,
when we were
cool.
out on patrol.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Run into other boats or,
Yeah.
run into the shore, things
Yeah.
like that.
Did you?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, good.
We didn't.
Good job.
So we were
job
good.
successful.
Yes, I
Mission
did well.
accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
So, did you have any crazy things that happened? Any giant trafficking busts or
Actually, yeah, we did have a lot of busts. A lot of cocaine.
really?
actually,
were you
yeah.
on the east or west coast?
I was stationed on the West Coast.
Okay.
So we mostly went down to like Central and South America.
Wow.
Out around that area.
Like Baja and all that stuff.
yeah, even further than that,
Really?
like down to like Panama. And
Really?
Things like that. So
Wow.
Even into South America a little bit.
So would you guys, without saying too much, I mean, I'm getting a feeling that you would go down there and then just start kind of tracking back in international waters just to see who's coming
Pretty
and what they're
much.
doing.
Yeah, we'd get some leads and stuff, and then we'd follow up on those. And I mean, I think we've had when I was doing stuff, we did get a couple pretty big busts.
Really?
Yeah, and like I said, it was mostly cocaine. There was some weed, but a lot of people nowadays just look at weed and go,
Yeah, yeah,
really?
that's yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You're gonna
yeah.
bust somebody for
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
But yeah, tons and tons of cocaine.
Really?
Like it was ridiculous how much there was.
Yeah.
Like I have never seen that much kind of stuff.
Yeah,
before,
I don't know.
I
Most
mean,
people in this area probably haven't.
you're just like, wow, that. And let me tell you, the smell of that mixed with gasoline, because a lot of the times they would try and light their boats on fire so that there wouldn't be any evidence and stuff. Dude, it stunk so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
If you really get into the whole economy of trafficking, especially like with the Cubans and Escobar, and then later on with the guy in Mexico they just busted.
That was Escobar, wasn't it?
No, Escobar has been dead for a long time.
Who was the guy? Yeah, I'm trying to think.
El
of who it
Chapo.
was. Oh,
El Chapo.
that's right. That's right.
The thing is that you see is that it is extremely easy to make and process cocaine. Down
Not
there,
that you know from experience. Or
no,
anything,
I'm
but-
well from by doing and watching and reading and stuff like that. And down there, it doesn't cost anything because it's everywhere.
Right.
It's just like up here, cashew chicken.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere.
or like Starbucks. In Seattle.
Starbucks, yeah, exactly. And so there's as long as there's buyers here, that'll never stop. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that I think a lot of people have looked at. And if you look at, especially with like the legalization of marijuana in the states that it is legal, the thing that they're noticing, especially months, years in, is that all the black market stuff are going away because they can't make any money doing it.
That's true.
And I'm not saying that legalizing cocaine is the answer, but at the
No.
same time, there should be some things to look at because I think that is just as big of a problem. Is if you give them a market, they're going to exploit it
Of
with
course.
anything.
Of course.
So that's crazy. So what? Okay, so how? I guess I'm curious. Like you make a bust. Like what would happen? Would you guys just like say, hey, come here, we need to talk to you, or radio over there, or like call out on a megaphone, or
So basically, we would. It's almost like a traffic stop, really.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
did you have to have a reason to stop them?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so
do have to have a reason.
So how would you get what would, like on the big one, what did they do to screw up? I mean, you always hear about these guys like transporting and they get busted for speeding, and that's the thing to me is like if you're going to be transporting millions of dollars of contraband,
Why would you do
my
something
speedometer will
like
be
that?
locked at 59 on the highway and 34 in the city.
Right.
Anywhere and everywhere. I don't
That's
care
what
if
they
it took
make
me-
cruise control for.
You would think exactly. Like you would think that these guys, but they're not. Obviously, they're trafficking drugs, so they're not the smartest in the
Right.
world anyway. But at the same time, and I guess that's. But anyway, so yeah.
A lot of the times, like I said, we'd have leads, but we would do a lot of like safety checks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
making sure you got your
Enough life jackets on the boat.
vests,
Yeah.
all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure your lights and stuff are working
Yeah,
properly. Things
We
like
happen
that.
to smell a really strong odor coming from this boat.
Yes,
Yeah,
what is that?
yeah,
That doesn't
yeah,
smell like
yeah.
anything normal.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was kind of our thing.
So that's awesome. So you were in for 2.5 years, you said, almost 3?
Yeah.
What made you decide to get out?
Some medical stuff was one thing, and then just I didn't really like being gone as long as we were. I thought, you
Yeah,
know,
how long would it take? I mean, you say you go down to Panama and stuff. Like, how long would a trip, like a routine trip, take like that?
So we would be out for 3 to 4 months at a time,
Oh, wow.
but it would be like literally like no contact with anybody.
Yeah, because you're...
And me being a very social person
Yeah.
and wanting to communicate with
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
it sucked. Like, you could get email once in a while. It worked better when you got into like port calls and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it was a lot of not hearing from people, knowing what was going on in the world,
disconnect.
things like that. Yeah,
I
and,
get you.
I wasn't liking it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
then you got into radio, and the rest is history.
well, actually, I started in radio even before that.
Before that, so you
Yeah.
went back to
I
radio.
went back to radio
Oh, cool.
because I figured, music is really my passion.
Yeah.
So I decided just to stick with what I love, and
Grin and bear it.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Sean, thank you for your service, and thanks for coming to lunch today. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Mike.
it.
Appreciate it.